Hi Fad Campers, it's Grace here and I have some new stand updates I'd love to tell you about. If you're based in the UK, I will be doing some dates in July and August and I'd love to see some of you there. I'll be in Leeds doing a work in progress with Amy Annette on July 4th in the Hyde Park Book Club. I'll be in Brighton on July 6th with Alison Spittle in the Comedia Comedy Club, and I'm going to be doing my own work in progress show in Glasgow on July 12th at Good Egg Comedy. Also then I will be at the Edinburgh Fringe, of course, for the entirety of August, from July 30th to August 24th. I'll be at the Assembly George's Square at the Crate, 10 to 3 every day. Would love if you could tell anyone you know who's going to be at the Edinburgh Fringe to come see my show. I'd really appreciate it. Thanks, guys. We'd like to take a moment to tell you about our sponsor, Anchor.
Anchor is the easiest way to make a podcast.
It's free.
There's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer.
Anchor will distribute your podcast for you, so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and many more.
You can even make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership.
It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place.
So download the free Anchor app or go to Anchor FM to get started. Now, let's get to the show.
My name is Grace Mulvey. I'm a comedian, human woman, and lifelong fad dieter. From the moment I walked out of my mother's womb, I've been on a diet. That's 31 years of no carbs, no sugar, and no crack. It's time to say enough already. Now, I'm not saying I'm a nirvana of self-love and acceptance, by the way. But I am saying that I'm no longer willing to spend all of my time, money, and energy on fad diets.
And I'm Connor Dowling, writer, filmmaker, and world-class warrior. Years of fitness models, crotch fiends, and get-thin-quick schemes have melted my brain and left me overweight and unimpressed. I've wasted years of my life obsessed with what I eat and how I look. So now, I finally know what's making me feel like crap all these years. Fad diets.
We are not health experts. I repeat, we are not health experts. We are just here to talk about and laugh at our experiences of bullshit diets.
Disclaimer, please, whatever you do, don't hurt yourself with any of these crazy weight loss topics we discuss in the show. This podcast won't make you thin, but it might make you laugh. Welcome to Fad Camp. Yeah, so this week, obviously, we have our first interviewee ever, Karen Glennon, Session Moth Martina. So excited to talk to her. But I wanted to also bring up a diet that I just totally forgotten about for years. And one night I woke up in a sweat thinking, oh my God, that diet. I need to talk about it. Flashbacks. But
Karen had done this diet as well, Karen Glennon. So I just thought it was a funny thing that she had even done it. It's the Special K diet. Okay. Connor, do you know Special K is in the cereal?
Of course. It's like, have you ever heard of Special K, Connor? Of course I've heard of Special K. I can never forget the ads. They were very kind of like, you know, sexually explicit and very not explicit. The ads were very sexually suggestive. I remember back in the days.
Yes,
and they were very like, oh, Special K. It was like the sexy cereal as far as I remember.
It was basically a bunch of white women in lingerie eating cereal for some reason. Do you know what I mean?
Well, it's before they've gotten dressed for the day, Grace. Come on, like, I mean, give these riders a break, like.
I know I always hang out in a tank top and like a thong and eat my Special K. But yeah, anyway, so Special K, one of the breakfast cereals from Kellogg's, obviously a massive company.
Not to be confused with Special K, the drug, ketamine or angel dust, as it's known in some areas. Because the Special K diet, also, I'd say you'd lose some weight on that Special K diet.
You really would. That's also a diet for white women in tank tops and thongs to be.
Oh, you're really going after the white women today.
I just remember being very much featured white women in the ads. But yeah, no, listen, it was like obviously it's either Special K the cereal or Special K, you know, the drug. But we're talking about the Special K diet, the cereal this week. So basically the diet came along and I just cannot believe we allowed this to happen as a society, that this was allowed to be a diet that was, by the way, ran on numerous ads. Like I remember it all over the TV and stuff like that. And basically it was like the Special K and Kellogg's came out and were like, you should do the Special K diet for 2 weeks if you want to drop 2 jean sizes. That was the big thing as well. Not even dress sizes, jean sizes. They were really going after the old waist, you know? So
Just to tell you a little bit about it, what exactly is the Special K
They're
diet?
like, if you're using cereal to lose weight, you're not wearing dresses, ladies. Come on, like that. They know their market. Like
They know their market. It's only women in jeans that eat this cereal. I love that, like, very specific marketing of what exactly women are wearing when they're eating Special K.
you'll go down 2 sweatpants sizes.
You'll go down 2 bra sizes, and they're like, oh, I wear a bra. So the premise of the Special K diet, sometimes known as the K diet, which is also definitely, I would assume, is ketamine, is simple. The diet is essentially a 2-week challenge to consume Special K cereal as a meal replacement for 2 out of your 3 main meals a day, with the promise of a quick weight loss. Okay? Although it's only followed 14 days, eating the same cereal for 2 weeks per day restricts you from consuming a variety of foods and benefiting from a variety of nutrients. A bit of a duh comes with that. Additionally, the diet doesn't establish eating patterns beyond a 2-week period, so you're likely to resort to old ways of eating once the challenge is complete. Here's what the experts say. The Special K diet encourages replacing meals with cereals and bars to promote weight loss, up to 6 pounds in 2 weeks, or 2 jean sizes. The health community warns that this is unsustainable. Please, most Special K most Special K products are low in satiating fats and proteins, so you may feel hungry. I don't know as well, Connor, if you like, I don't know when the last time you ate Special K, but like, I find them delicious. Like, it's a delicious product, don't get me wrong. But I mean, it's a very beige food. I would imagine it as like a bowl of dust that you're like, for my breakfast and lunch.
Yeah, for such a sexy cereal, it's quite bland. I do remember did they add berries at one stage, or they did clusters? Or there was bars.
Red berry Special K.
The bars, the Special K bars were a watershed moment in the cereal culture, as far as I remember.
Oh, yes.
I think it was 1997, March 3rd.
You don't have to tell me the date. I think we all know when the Special K bar came out. It was a watershed moment for all.
It was like Beatlemania. It was really like Beatlemania. So I just want to give a bit of a background. So the Special K diet was developed as part of a marketing strategy by the cereal creator itself. Surprise, surprise. Guys, I've got this great idea for selling our cereal. Let's make it into a diet. That's genius. That's just good.
It is. It's good marketing. What can I say?
In 2002, Kellogg's funded a study with researchers from Purdue University to determine if consuming ready-to-eat cereal as a meal replacement twice a day would lead to weight loss. The study was published in the Journal of the American College of Nutrition with promising outcomes. As a result, the Special K Challenge was marketed to the masses with a primary focus on women. The promise? Kellogg's claims that the Special K Challenge is a simple, great-tasting way to drop up to a jean size in 2 weeks. There's that jean size again. The challenge takes the guesswork out of weight loss by telling consumers to replace 2 meals with a Special K cereal or meal replacement bar, followed by a reasonable, healthy third meal. The Special K challenge was a popular diet option for almost a decade. Wow.
God.
That a decade. I thought this was like a flash in the pan kind of thing. As it seemed like a viable way to lose weight quickly. For this reason, it appealed to many people. However, in 2013,
dun, dun, dun.
I was thinking dun 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 in my mind. However, in 2013, Special K sales, along with the sales of many other weight loss foods, quote unquote weight loss foods, began to decline. Americans were losing interest in eating diet foods and shifting their focus to choosing healthy food options. Since then, Kellogg's has altered its marketing of the cereal. However, the premise of the diet, along with all its limitations, still exists. Additionally, the diet has evolved over time to include more branded products as meal and snack replacements.
Which actually I didn't know. I think I've obviously been out of the Special K loop for a while. I no longer eat
the community, the K
cereal
community.
in tank tops. Yeah, the K community. You know what? I kicked K to the curb.
Your K habit. You're out of the K out of the K hole.
K habit. That makes it sound either that I'm a drug addict or I'm like really into the Kardashians. Like I just, but I didn't know that it sort of expanded their range. But isn't it funny to think, right? And it's one point I wanted to make. This diet was brought basically created by a marketing team
of geniuses.
And that marketing team, yeah, exactly, who deserve the Nobel Prize of marketing, okay, if there is one. But they immediately changed their strategy the moment that a weight loss foods, you know, the kind of
Fad.
overprocessed
When
weight
the
loss
fad dies.
foods, the fad was over. And this is what I always think about fad diets when people are like, oh, this is meant to work. I'm always like, just really think about something you've done before, which suddenly everyone was doing. And then like unbelievably, like boom, it was gone. And I never spoke of again. And they stopped doing it. It is only when they're going to make money out of you. And it doesn't matter really. They don't care if it's healthy for you or in any way good for you or long lasting. So just try to remember that. Try and think of a marketing team with little devil horn coming out of their heads, okay, that are trying to come up with this.
Grace,
But anyway,
how does the Special K diet actually work?
okay. Well, okay, so basically the essence of the Special K diet is that it's portion controlled, which is, 90% of diets.
Okay.
The 2-week challenge that it recommends substituting 2 meals per day with a Special K cereal. In addition, the diet allows for portion controlled snacks, which, by the way, surprise, surprise, tend to be Special K snacks, vegetables and fruits to support short-term weight loss or weight maintenance goals. The diet was never intended or marketed as a long-term weight loss solution. They were very specific about the 2 weeks thing, but I will say this. I noticed the Special K thing. It was almost like a 2-week thing that like women in particular, it was marketed to obviously, would pick it up again and again, say, oh, I have a wedding coming up in 2 weeks now. This will be the nice little, you know what I mean, short-term weight loss. But instead, as it was seen as almost like a jumpstart option to help you meet your initial weight loss goal. A lot of specialists would say don't use it as a jumpstart because it tends to promote unhealthy eating, or you're just going to, as we always say, when you start a diet, when you finish it, you tend to put back more weight than you began with in the first place.
When you resume eating anything that resembles like a normal kind of
exactly.
amount of food.
When you don't eat 2 bowls of dust a day, delicious dust, I'll give them that, but dust.
And is this in this bowl of cereal? Is it literally just like one portion of cereal with like milk? And do you put berries in it, or what's going on here?
So obviously, they said fruit and stuff. So you could put berry, if you want to put fruit, you can put fruit in it. But I will go through exactly what they kind of recommend, okay? And
I'm getting hungry just thinking about all this cereal.
Yeah, I know.
We both love a good bowl of cereal, to be fair. We've established that on this show. We love a good bowl of cereal.
I am a cereal addict. My sister's the same. My sister's birthday's coming up, and I can't believe, Connor, you didn't get her anything. But my sister's birthday's coming up, and a friend of hers bought her a multi-pack of miniature cereals because that's how much we love them, in our family. So listen, I still would eat Special K. I just don't think it should have been a diet. But anyway, just to go through the Special K diet. So the structure of the diet, the Special K diet, is simple to understand and implement. There are no set times for meals or snacks. You can fit them into your schedule. But here's a sample meal plan, all right? Breakfast, meal 1. 1 cup of Kellogg's Special K cereal. So what 1 cup is, that's an American cup size, is 30 grams.
Which is not a bowl.
Now, Connor,
it's not a bowl full of cereal.
It's not a bowl at all. It's barely, it's such a small amount, it's ridiculous, okay? Then you have 2/3 cup of skim milk. So less than 30 grams of skim milk, by the way, which as we all know is coloured water.
It's low in fat, which it doesn't have that satiety.
Yeah. So no satiety at all.
No situation.
1 medium banana. The snack that your midday snack would be, of course, a Kellogg's Special K Red Berries Chewy snack bar.
Which is mind-boggling because they're just made of sugar. It's just flakes of cereal encased in melted sugar of some sort and syrup.
It is the sweetest thing. Like I will say, I don't think even when I say the Kellogg's Special K cereal bar, I can taste. I remember eating them so much, particularly on Weight Watchers, because they would, I think, only be like 1.5 points. It was some ridiculous small amount that you could have. They were and you'd have it with your cup of tea. Jesus Christ, the sweetness of it. And I'm a person who loves sweetness. Okay, lunch would be, of course, once again, 30 grams of Kellogg's Special K, again, skim milk, and then they'd recommend 2 cups of salad. So that would be about 60 grams of salad. Your next snack would be a Kellogg's Special K chocolatey dipped mint protein meal bar and 1 medium apple. And dinner would be a normal dinner where they say 5 ounces of pork loin, 1 cup of roasted Brussels sprouts, and half a sweet potato.
Those sweet potatoes coming in to save the day.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Okay.
That's their thing. Yeah. And they have, by the way, just the products, their recommended products. Who? Just to point out, right? So I'm just going to pick one from like different categories. They have cereals, frozen meals, bars and bites, treats and shakes. Okay. They have like, Special K apple cinnamon crunch as the bar. The frozen meals are like Special K sausage pepper and cheese quiche.
What?
Their bar bites would be Special K nourish blueberry almond quinoa bites. Their shakes and treats would be Special K cookies and cream pastry crisps. Like, you know, when you read this stuff and you're like, what is in this?
Yeah.
Like, as in, how are you getting even just frozen meals and stuff? Like, what? I just can't imagine the amount of sugar and salt and things that are in this. Like,
Are all of these Special K meals in the supermarket today?
No, you see, I think they didn't push this in Europe or Ireland.
Right.
I think this is mostly in the States that they're still doing this. So it's like they're not actually pushing the Special K diet anymore, but they're still kind of expanding the range of, you know, Special K stuff so that people will still kind of do it anyway. Do you know what I mean? That sort of stuff. Obviously, right, the pros and cons. The pros are Special K products are cost effective. Now that I don't particularly think Special K products are that cost effective. I think they're kind of, you know, expensive. A practical diet apparently is the pro for this. Not much planning required because there's not much food or joy. And relative safe and no health risks because it's only 2 weeks long. The cons are may cause increased appetite. Limited options can be boring is one of the cons. It's only a short-term plan. And of course, it doesn't create any healthy habits.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It's just like, you know, listen,
when it says
it's absolutely nuts.
When it says may cause increased appetite, I mean, that just makes me think like, you know, I mean, there's so many things nowadays to say like, don't eat cereal. It's like, you know, just eating like a bowl of sugar first thing in the morning. You know, if people are trying to cut back on carbs, it's like one of the worst things they can have. But like when you eat a bowl of cereal, like you might be full after eating it, but like an hour later, you will be starving. You'll be that's why they're pushing. That's why they're pushing the snacks. So it's like, I'm starving. Give me that feckin' bar. Like, you know. Wow.
No, because I completely agree. I more see cereal now as like a snack, as in like if I was like, like gagging for an bowl of cereal, but also a bowl of cereal for me. When I saw those recommended sizes, when I would actually like weigh out kind of a free pour, I'm pretty sure I'm getting like 1,000 grams.
Yeah.
Like my bowl of cereal is like, and also, can I just say, it's just me, bowl's gotten bigger. Like I feel like the depth of a bowl now is like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's really just not much that you're getting. Obviously, I'm just a cereal fucking fanatic or something. But listen, the one thing I will say about this is, obviously they're not pushing the diet thing now with Special K. Good. But how in God's name actually do they get away with this? Like, it's a weird thing to me. You were saying this again before, but like, you know, if you're going to go down, which a lot of governments have gone down the whole obesity epidemic, and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like everything that is wrong in life is because someone has weight on them. You know what I mean? Like, you know, the trees aren't growing fast enough. That's because the people are gaining more weight. There's always something. Exactly. We're eating all the trees. But if you are going to go down that route, which, you know, say like the Tory government just recently have, it is madness to me that you would let a private company push these diets that will cause people probably in the long term to have more weight on them, or won't allow them to build up healthy eating habits in the long term. Like, it's crazy to me. I'm like, so you aren't in no way trying to solve an actual problem that you think exists. Do you know what I mean? So like, this is just where like a diet like this, I just can't believe that this was on the telly, that they promoted it to women, but also like, let's call a spade a spade. Teenagers did this. Like, I did this when I was in school. So I'd have my little 30 grams of like shitty, you know, Special K that I bring into school with a little thing of milk, and I'd eat that as my lunch.
You know what I find so strange?
And it would be normal.
Because I get that you're saying like it was marketed towards women. I remember Special K being marketed towards women, as we mentioned.
Yeah.
But I'm racking my brains here like for this, because obviously, you know, fad diets have been in my on my radar for years and years and years. But I just really trying to rack my brain, trying to think. I don't know. Maybe I've seen some billboards with like, you know, Special K and like a waist with like a measuring tape around it or something like that.
Yeah.
You know,
that was the big one actually, the measuring tape around the bowl. Do you remember that? And it would sort of like tighten the bowl.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, sure. Okay, so it's coming back to me. It's buried in there. It's deep in there somewhere.
You were just focusing on the sexy cereal and the sexy ladies in it. Connor's like, you know, it's weird. I don't remember a diet or anything.
Yeah. Holding up those posters with one hand on my wall is just like hard to read all of the print. But I guess it just wasn't really fully on my radar at the time. I was probably, you know, if it was in the early 2000s, I had a lot of other stuff to worry about at that time. So I guess it didn't exactly come up.
Y2K was still, you know, people were still worried that might kick in.
But what was your experience like on it?
You know, I just remember, you see, once again, I loved cereal. So for me, I was like, oh, this is the answer to all my problems. I'm going to get to have 2 bowls of cereal a day. But once again, of course, when you see the serving size, you'd just be starving. So I was pretty much living on a few pieces of fruit. And also, I will say, when I read up on it as well, a lot of other health experts were saying they're very vague on what a healthy and balanced dinner is.
Right.
So by the time you would have gotten to dinner after having a very small bowl, 30 grams of Special K for your breakfast, maybe with a small banana. And they're always very, you know, you particularly see in real diet culture, they're very like medium-sized apple, medium-sized banana. Let's not go nuts.
Yeah.
You know, but by the time you got to dinner, you would be starving.
Here's a quick question. What do you do with that half a banana? You know? Like, you know, when you're making...
Yeah, I know.
That half banana is the bane of my existence, like.
Bananas like have no backbone. The moment they get a bit of air to them, they suddenly are like shriveled and brown. You can't leave them for 10 seconds exposed without them just falling to pieces. Now I know I don't want pro banana people at me. Don't come at me on Twitter, okay? I love me a banana, but bananas have no backbone. They're like the cowardly lion of the Wizard of Oz.
# bananas have no backbone. I just think there's so many diets that are like eat half banana or mini banana, but so many bananas you get are like massive. So you're like, oh, well,
they're huge.
I guess I would be an absolute pig if I was to eat this entire banana in my cereal. So I'm kind of, what do you do with the other half? Like, Grace, this is a serious problem. Like, what do you do with it? It's a serious problem.
And that's why so many people are investing in banana bread now. Like, what can you do when you are told to eat half a banana? You know what I mean? It's crazy. It's crazy. But yeah, so my recollection of the Special K diet is being in school, being a teenager, bringing my little 30 grams of Special K to school at my lunch, pouring it in, a little bit of skim milk and like, when I say treasuring every bite.
Oh God, yeah.
Because I wasn't going to be eating again for hours. That's what I remember of it. And I remember a lot of other young women doing it as well in my school, which is very upsetting. But anyway, that's all for the Special K diet.
Cool. And do you know why Special K is called Special K? It's an interesting factoid. So it's named, so one of the researchers in the Kellogg's food kitchen was addicted to ketamine.
I love the idea. Hey, what are we going to call this? Like sugared maize?
It's like, give me some of that Special K, man. Give me some of that Special K. Oh, okay, good idea. It's actually a much more wholesome, heartwarming story. One of the researchers in the Kellogg's kitchen, after he kicked his Special K habit, he had given birth, or his wife had given birth to 7 sons, and his final child was a daughter who they named Kathleen, and the nickname for her was Special K because of the aforementioned ketamine habit. So they were like, yeah, let's just slap that on a cereal and make millions. Okay, cool.
Karen Glennon, aka Session Moth Martina, is an Irish professional wrestler from Rathfarnham in Dublin. She began wrestling training in 2011, making her debut just 6 months later. But performing in the wrestling ring wasn't part of her plan, as Karen herself said. I was a lot heavier when I was younger, so it never really crossed my mind to actually wrestle. You're looking at all these girls that are on TV that are in great shape and stuff. I found the main stage wrestling Facebook page and just thought to myself, oh, maybe I could go down and train to be a referee. It was at the main stage wrestling's training school where she met Joe Cabra. who started Over the Top Wrestling, and the rest, as they say, is history. Since then, Karen has stepped into the ring all over the world, from the UK to Germany to Japan and of course the US, winning numerous championship titles along the way. She's currently signed to the US wrestling company Ring of Honor. Welcome to Fad Camp, Karen.
Hey, Grace. Hey, Connor. I'm so honored to be your first guest. Yeah, I know. I was like, how did you know so much?
Oh, I've been stalking you for the last day or so. Just for a reference, I actually know Karen because you used to be my neighbour up the road from my parents' house in Rathfarnham. So good shout out. Oh my God. You're my claim to fame, Karen. You're the only famous person I know.
Yeah, are you kidding me? You're mine. big fan of Fad Camp, so you know.
Thank you.
But yeah, it's quite great to actually be talking to you on this as well, seeing as we both grew up as heavy kids on the street. So it's going to be a trip down memory lane.
I feel like what happened on our road that it produced so many children who became fad dieters.
Yeah, like we played games. We played
we ran around
sometimes.
Yeah, we played hide and seek.
Yeah, we would just hide and hope not to be caught, but still,
yeah. Okay, so Karen, right? First of all, obviously, can't wait to discuss really, obviously, dieting within wrestling and everything like that. But I just wanted to start off. Okay, so off the top of your head, how many diets do you think you've done in your life? Like different diets?
Oh man, I would say I think I've been on like a constant diet of some form since I was like 19, and I'm just like going 30 now. But I'd say in that about 100, you read something and you're like, oh yeah, that sounds great, I'll do that. And you do it for like 2 hours and then you stop. But I think it's always like, since it just kind of gets something that just constantly ingrained in your head. You know what I mean? When you have been heavy as a kid and you lose it and you kind of fluctuate over the years, it's going to be something that you don't look at food the way other people do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're like, it's kind of like you constantly see carbs, you constantly see fats, you constantly see protein, you can't it's not food anymore. That's what you see. But you go like up and down on how bothered I guess you are at the time, isn't it really?
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, today I care, tomorrow I don't. You know what I mean?
It's basically, for me, it's like 10 minutes ago I cared.
Yeah.
And then maybe it's kind of cold this afternoon, maybe I don't care and I'm just going to have something nice.
Oh, you need to treat yourself. It's cold outside. Oh, you need to treat yourself. It's morning. You need to treat yourself. Yeah, it's pretty much like that all the time.
Yeah,
I think I've been on about 3 diets today. So you're doing pretty well so far.
That's amazing. I woke up today with a zest, and then the jellies in the aisle saw me, and I was like, it's winter, I deserve a treat. It's 2020, I deserve a treat.
That's it.
2020 definitely is the year of the treat. And I think that in the Chinese, zodiac calendar, they should just call it it's like the year of the rabbit, the year of the dragon. It's the year of the treat. It's the year that we get a write-off, a pass.
Yeah.
But can you name, some of the diets off the top of your head that you would have tried over the years then?
I tried Weight Watchers for a while. I tried, because, there's always that one person that swears by it. Yeah. And you see that oh my God, look what happened to them. Yeah, I'm going to try it. And for you, it just doesn't work. I've definitely done the low carb thing. That's kind of something that's always in the back of your head. You're always like, oh, that's meant to be a miracle worker. That's meant to drop everything instantly. I'll try that. Intermittent fasting, just high protein. I've tried paleo, which I guess is just low carb. It depends on how strict you're going to be on it. I've done trying to just drink protein shakes and one meal, Special K diet.
Oh, yeah.
As I said to Grace before. I just feel, or else you're just like, oh, no, this microwave meal, it's only 200 calories, so that must be great for me. And you realize, oh my God, this tastes like actual cardboard. This is horrible. And I don't know, I couldn't even count. I just feel like your mind's trained to be in a different diet constantly. You know what I mean? Like, oh, this is good, this is bad. Oh wait, no, I've actually heard that's bad. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And it is.
It's almost like you're living your life, or we are living our lives under this umbrella of diet culture, you know, and it's like it's always there in the background, but then like every now and again there's like a specific one that catches your attention, you know.
Works fast. How to shred all your body weight in 2 days.
I always like how to lose 2 stone in an hour, and you're like, oh my god, amazing. And really the way you're going to do that is probably die.
If it's a supplement, it's definitely not good for you.
Yeah. And can I ask, right, so I mean, I know you were saying before you were heavier when you were younger. When did, like, with wrestling, like going into wrestling, as I said from the quote, is you said like you didn't think you were kind of going to train and think, oh, I'm going to just go down and train as a referee. I won't wrestle. What kind of changed when you went down there? Like, did you just not think it was possible because of your body shape or body type at the time, or?
This was in 2011. So it was like a very, very different time in wrestling itself. This was a time when it was like still kind of like they didn't really put much emphasis on women's wrestling. And all the women that you did see wrestling were Playboy models. They were really, really skinny and they were beautiful. They were very they were superstars. They were unattainable. They didn't really pay much attention to women actually being talented wrestlers or being kind of the real people that the business has kind of progressed to become now, because nowadays it is very, very much more welcoming. Like, it's not about how you look. Like, it is there. It's definitely still an aspect to it. But I think it's just as time has gone on, people have started to respect the real people in wrestling. They like people that are relatable, and just like that whole fake, unattainable look. It became old, because it's been like that in wrestling since the 80s, really. You know what I mean? But this was a time, obviously, when I had like fallen in love with wrestling, and I loved it, and it was everything to me. But I just didn't think I had lost a little bit of weight from I think from like, I don't even know, Grace, you would know better than me, but like since I was a child to like 18, I was very heavy. I wouldn't be able to say like exactly what it, like stones and all that stuff, because I just never knew. But I knew I was a big unit. But I think it just never really bothered me too much as a teenager. Like, it was in my head, obviously, as it is with everybody. But I just kind of, I'm big boned, you know? I just kind of accepted it for a long time.
Yeah. And also, can I say, I think you looked great. Like, as in, like, you know, when you look back, like, you will sometimes put up, I'm not a huge fan of before, but you'll sometimes put up like, TBT, and obviously you've changed a lot. And by the way, like, obviously you've changed a lot because you're an athlete now. Like, I mean, I consider you like an athlete. You know, you're a wrestler, but you are. I mean, Karen, listen, you are literally doing flips in a ring while, you know, tackling someone. You're an athlete. But, you know, I never... Like, it's a funny thing, particularly, I think, if you do grow up with bigger or, you know, with issues with food, you actually are so much harsher on yourself. It's when you show people, they'll go, oh, I never saw you that way. Like, as in, I never consider, you know, you always look great to me. So it's the fact that you'll look back. It's nice that at least at the time you weren't being very harsh on yourself, because that's, you know.
It was kind of just something I just accepted as a teenager. You know what I mean? I was just kind of like, oh, and you know, it was actually when I started to lose weight when I became a bit psycho about it, which is ironic. Like, well, is it? But I remember at about maybe 19, it actually happened because of your sister, Grace. I remember she had lost loads of weight, and she was just going on walks. So I started going on walks with her.
Yeah.
And I started just noticing, because this was coming from a time when I used to when we used to play chasing, I used to fall and twist my ankle just so I didn't have to run anymore. Or I literally would never go to PE in school. I would skip the whole day of school so I didn't have to go to PE. Like, fitness was just zero. I had none. I don't think I'd ever run my life, or lifted a weight or did any form of exercise ever. And but I started going on these walks. So I started noticing the smallest little bit of a loss, and I was like, I guess it was just kind of, you know, that adrenaline rush when somebody notices it and they say, oh, you lost a bit of weight, and you kind of get addicted to that in a way, and then I was like, oh, I have to keep going, and then during that time I hadn't lost much, but I lost a bit, and I got pretty obsessive about it, and that's when I started okay, I need to count my calories. Oh, what's this? I never knew what a carb was. I never knew what protein was. Food to me came in like containers, and it was chocolate bars, and you know, I had the worst diet ever as a kid,
Yeah.
and it was just normal in a way, you know what I mean? But once you start down a rabbit hole, you just go fully through it, you know. So then it was like,
Yeah.
then I found the wrestling school, and I was like, instantly, because I had a lot more, like, I was more self conscious then about myself because I had noticed the weight started to go, and I started to
Yeah.
be harder on myself because of it. So I was like, no way, no, I could never do it. I could never do it. So I had a friend that went down and did it. So I went and I met the owner of the thing, and I kind of said to him like, oh, you know, I'd love to give it a go, but I don't think I'll be able for it. And he just kind of said like, no, seriously, come down, like just give it a try. Because they obviously had no girls at the time. So they were like, oh, a
Right.
girl that wants to wrestle, go for it. So
Can I
we
just say,
brought,
very
like,
intimidating to walk into a new place full of men.
it was terrifying.
I'd be
It
like,
was
I'm going to try
terrifying.
wrestling. Yeah.
I
I'd
remember
be too
like,
afraid to do that, to be honest.
Yeah.
No chance.
I remember it so well. Like I remember walking through and just like, especially because it's all like teenage boys, they're just looking at you like, what are you doing here? And I was like,
Yeah.
oh God, I wish I didn't do this. But then I remember like the training back then as well, anyway, was like, we would start the training with half an hour, because one of the guys that trained us was like a fitness instructor. So he'd start, and like none of the guys were in shape. This is another thing. Like it was a lot of skinny boys or big boys or whatever, but they were all kind of kids with dreams, pretty much.
Yeah.
So, and that is like as a trainer now, that is your audience. You know what I mean? You want to take these kids that want to do this, give them a road to go down it with passion. You know what I mean? But obviously, part of the business is being fit and being in shape, especially for boys. Like that's the thing. I actually think male wrestlers, they're mental. They're insane. They are so obsessed with their bodies. They'd be like bodybuilders in that way, where they look at everything because they're like, oh, I have to take my top off in front of like 200 people this weekend. So, you know, they're pretty insane.
Yeah.
And as well, they're constantly comparing themselves to other guys. Do you know what I mean? They're looking at like guys like The Rock, guys like, trying to think of a wrestler that you might know, which is really
No,
ripped.
even John Cena
Cena.
or like any of those guys from back in the day. Even because I actually weirdly am a bit of a wrestling fan. Now I haven't kept up with it as much.
Yeah.
When I was a late 90s, early 90s
Yeah,
Sky
that's my era
One
too.
child of wrestling. You know,
Yeah.
the what I consider the peak time of wrestling, which is like China and all
I
those
do
people.
too. Trust me, I do too.
But it's weirdly one of the sports which is kind of in a weird way almost on a level playing field with men and women in terms of the body pressure, because the men are as much like I there's not one hair on a male wrestler that I can see in WWE, and like WWE, by the way, should have their own like fake tan line, because I just think the fake tan going on there is insane. But you know what I mean? I can see where you say like the pressure of the men, just I'd imagine it can cause as well probably a bit of body dysmorphia.
100%. Literally.
A lot of the men I can think of in wrestling, like they like you say, they have to take off their shirts. They wear such little amounts. Like often it's like kind of like an underpant kind of thing. Is that,
it's trunks, like pretty much. They're trunks, or else they're short shorts. And
if I had to wear that in a stadium full of people, I'd be in the gym every 5 minutes. Like, that would like keep me up at night. Like, you know.
I wouldn't be able to like spell carb, let alone eat one. You know what I mean? Like, you wouldn't go near the stuff.
That's the thing. Like especially like back then, I remember like for me it was terrifying. And so I started like the training. We started doing like a half an hour of just like body weight squats, push-ups, push-ups on your knees, like, and little bits of exercise. And like obviously then you start getting in the ring and you realize, oh crap, I need cardio, because I'm getting up and down, up and down, up and down. And then like burpees were introduced to my life, which was the bane of my existence.
Connor, by the way, Karen, Connor hates burpees. Like I do think he has some childhood trauma that a burpee was involved because he hates
I was
them.
a wrestler, my arch nemesis would just be a burpee just coming into the ring, and I would be wrestling a burpee.
I literally hate them. I absolutely hate them. Now, like, this is what goes back to like you saying that I'm an athlete and stuff. Like, I literally think I get by on the skin of my teeth. Like compared to some of the people there, like some of the guys I know are fitness machines. I know one guy that over the quarantine time, he spent 2 weeks going for a 5K run every 4 hours. And that's over 3 weeks, every 4 hours. So he'd wake up he'd go at 12 o'clock at night, go to sleep for a bit, get up at 4 a.m, 8 on the dot. And I was like, this guy is like, that's willpower like I've never ever heard
What
of.
are you running from?
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. What are you running from?
He has 2 kids. And I'm like,
What?
Oh, there you
and
go.
this is during the time where they're all home from school as well, so he had to constantly be on them.
God.
I was like this guy, I was like, you just make me feel so bad for sitting in my own filth for the last 6 months.
But that does seem but that doesn't seem quite excessive, Karen. Like, I mean, like, you know, when you're talking about trying to maybe get a bit of balance in your life, like, you know, when someone says something like that to me now, something like a few years ago, if someone said that to me, I would be like, oh my God, well, I'm just the worst because I don't do that. Now I'm more like, well, you know what, like, I also want to live till like I'm 90, so maybe doing that mightn't get you very places.
See, with him,
you know what I mean?
With him, I genuinely think it was he's the type of guy, like, that was him to push himself. You know what I mean? Like that.
It's a release.
He felt great about himself after that, and he was really proud of himself. And he is like a fitness machine. So I was like, that's amazing. Like, that's so great for you. Wow, you're amazing. But like in my head, I'm like, I just never have had that sort of. I've never been able to be that strict on myself. Do you know what I mean? I've never had that sort of dedication.
Okay, so say like going back to like 2011 when you did start, okay, and you know, obviously you're getting into the fitness, that's all great, and you're starting to like obviously learn a lot about wrestling. Did you, I mean, like, I've looked back in some photos, the costumes you wear today are much more covered up because obviously you're playing a character like Martina, you know. But back then you were kind of wearing more of the skimpier things. Did you feel a pressure to be like, I better start like getting stricter on a diet or following a diet?
100%. That was probably there was like a time then when I'd obviously dieted so much, I got very skinny, which like I never even thought at the time. I was like, I know I got very skinny, but I had a very loose skin because I had been so heavy and I lost weight quite fast. So I was like, no, I'm still fat. No, I'm still fat. But everyone around me was like, no, you're actually like really, really thin now. But I couldn't see it. And it was kind of one of them things where I was like, no. And I was driving myself a bit crazy. And I think it was because it's kind of weird. Like the car was much smaller then and the crowds were smaller then. It was in front of maybe like 50 people at the time. Yeah. And like we didn't have social media as big then, you know, the wrestling scene itself wasn't as big then. So there weren't like eyes on you or whatever. And I was like, but like, I was so concerned about my body. I was like, I'll never go to WWE because of my body. I'll never go anywhere because of my body. I'll never go to Japan. I'll never get signed anywhere. I never thought wrestling was going to be a full job or anything like that because I was like, no, it's a hobby. I don't have the body to be a star because I don't look like these women. And I remember
who, as you said, are like models. Like, as in, like, they weren't even really, not really wrestlers, but some of them weren't.
They weren't
like,
wrestlers, so that's the thing. They weren't in, like, they, and you could tell that by their work, really. Yeah. But then over time, like, the whole women's revolution kind of happened in wrestling, and that's when they started like hiring indie women. So you start watching like independent wrestling and you start seeing these girls are actually class at wrestling. Yeah. And you'd be like, oh my God, like this is amazing to see like girls actually wrestling the way the guys do. This is fantastic. And they also started like looking more real. Like they weren't all blonde and like had surgery and all this stuff. They just genuinely, they'd be in good shape. But they'd like look like people that you could know and everything like that. So it all everything started to become a lot more like realistic, I guess, as time went on. And then it was around 2015 that I invented like Session with Martina. And obviously then I was like, oh, okay, I'm going to do this character, Session. I want it to be full character. I want it to be comedy. So I was like, I'm going to see what I can wear. So I started wearing jammies and a t-shirt because I was like, that's what a Session would wear.
Because Martina's like from the flats is what she's meant to be, isn't it? Like she's a comedy character. Yeah. She's from the flats. You be drinking cans now to be on stage. Yeah. It's a great character. It's so like such a great character. But yeah, as you said,
it's really fun. It's like it is inspired off everything like that we've seen from Dublin at the time, but obviously nowhere else in the world like knew what a Session was. So like, right, I'm just going to take this and see how I can like change it up for international people or stuff like that. But they got the gist of it pretty fast. But yeah, once I started wearing like clothes that were more covered, I felt it's insane the difference I felt just in myself. I just was so much less hard on myself.
Right.
I wasn't like, because I was like, okay, no, I'm safe now. I have this character. I'm meant to be comedy, so I'm not actually trying to be like these other girls that like I like kind of that thing. Like I know I'm not that, but so I don't want any of you to think that I think that I am. If you get me,
Right? Yeah.
It's almost like you're not like trying to like pretend that I'm trying to be like Maurice over here, or like Kelly. I'm actually just going to do this own thing, and it just kind of brought along such a relief, if you get me. Like it was just like, okay, well, like I don't have to be that, so I can kind of do this, and it really, really changed things. But then at the end of the day, you do constantly kind of in your head, you're like, okay, well, gym, just gotta go to the gym, gotta try eat well, you know, stuff like that. But then it's always if you eat bad on the road, you don't beat yourself up as much as you used to. You know what I mean?
And it's like, you know, when you're saying, because even the words bad or good, or you know what I mean. I suppose when you're, I know you don't like to be called an athlete, but you are a professional wrestler.
You would laugh at me if you see me in the gym. You would laugh at me and like this girl, an athlete.
Well, I've seen you do the jumps you've done in the ring. You're an athlete in my eyes, and a god. No, but I suppose as well, it's getting to a point of, if you have been dieting up until this point, as you've said, you've done all these diets, the Special K diet, the Weight Watchers. This is all about restricting calories. It's actually when you start to obviously do the exercise you're doing, you need the food. If you're going to be doing a match, it's such a weird thing to go from being a dieter to then being like, I need energy here. Like I'm not going to last. I need to be strong. I need to last a match, do cardio, do, you know, like strength as well, and be doing flips and all this. Like, did you find when you started being able to kind of wear more clothes on stage, how did that affect your diet? Like, did you find more freedom in it?
Do you know, I've never been one to like, so obviously I'm surrounded by like people that are obsessed with fitness. Like you've got these big muscly lads with abs, and they're all coming to shows with their chicken and rice, and they're surviving on that and their tuna and stuff like that. And like they're the types of like count your macros, all that kind of stuff, and they count. And I'm just like, it's way too much for me. I'm just like, I just don't understand it. Do you know what I mean? I just can't follow it. I just don't have the brains, I guess, to be that strict on myself, I guess. I don't know. I just kind of, it is something that's definitely still in my head though. I'm kind of like, I know I should eat before a show, but I just can't, so I won't. Do you know what I mean? And so you can't help it sometimes, like the bad habits in your head of being like, oh, I didn't eat today. Maybe that's a good thing. But you know that that's not good.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? But like I feel like it's something that's just constantly ingrained since the bad days of when you were like, oh no, I need to eat, like I can only eat like a pickle today. You know what I mean? And if I want to lose weight. But unfortunately, I do think that when you see all these fad diets and stuff and they say that it works, it does kind of stick in your head. Like, oh yeah, okay, if I don't eat breakfast, if I don't eat lunch, if I only eat one meal today, I'll lose weight. Yeah. And like even like 10 years later, you're kind of like, oh, well, okay, maybe it will work. You know what I mean? But you know better at this point. But
even the fact that you're saying, oh, before a match, which you're obviously, you know, going to need a lot of energy for, you're like, oh, maybe I won't eat. Like that's... Yeah. You know, if you were talking to, say, someone else, it's so funny how what we do to ourselves, but if, say, someone else was to say to you, oh, I'm about to do much about, but geez, eat up there now because you're going to need the... Like, you become like a man. You'd be like, but eat up your dinner there now because you're going to need the energy, you know? But it's so true.
It's hard, though. It's hard on the road, like, especially when you go to different countries. Like, I remember every time I go to Germany, I hate the food. Oh, like, really? I don't know why, I just hate the Germany food. And like,
well, the Germans aren't exactly known for their cuisine, Karen. So you're quite.
It's all very heavy and rich. I wouldn't exactly want to be jumping around. Yeah, with a it's like sauce bratwurst. Like,
yeah, it's just
exactly
sausages.
Like, but then like, I get flights at like 5 a.m, and I'd be like, the only thing I actually like that I could eat here is like a pretzel. And I remember like I'd be like, okay, I'll have a pretzel in the morning, and then like we'd have catering at the shows, but the catering was just. First of all, you have to fight off about like 50 hungry wrestlers and crew when the catering actually comes. And then it's also just it is very heavy. And I'm just like, it's greasy too. And I'm just like, I'd rather not. And there's also the thing in the back of my head as well, like when you are around these like big muscly wrestlers and they're eating their chicken and rice, I don't want to be sitting there with like my Sainsbury sandwich just being like, oh, yeah, just gotta have the, you can't help it. You were kind of like, oh, they're doing this, should I be doing that too? And taking into account like they're big muscle men that count every single thing that goes into their body, like they're not watching me have a sandwich. They don't care what I'm eating. But in my head, I'm thinking they're going to judge me. I'm not being a proper wrestler. I'm, you know what I mean? They're going to think I'm not doing this right or something, or you know what I mean?
Yeah, you're counting your calories and they're just counting their abs, like, you know.
Yeah. But the thing is, they're also judgy about that sort of stuff. Like they all care so much. They're about it is about the body to a lot of them. You know, they'd be like, oh, you lost, like, they would be the ones like, oh, you lost weight. And I've even had lads come up to me before and be like, you put on a few pounds. And I'd be like,
wow. What?
Yeah, it's Karen, a very like.
I go slap them men now.
I would be taking those guys into the ring and settling our differences in a cage match.
To be fair. So I definitely probably got my revenge on that one. But yeah, like that's the thing. I feel like it kind of gets in your head that they're like, there's kind of somebody, you're being watched. And I think it's always the looming thing as well of like, you have this like plate of what you think WWE wants, which again is that girl. And obviously they branch off it, but like it's such a thing. Like you learn when you start wrestling, it's like you need a character, you need a body, and you need to be athletic enough. Yeah. You know what I mean? And like they're the three things you need. And like I remember a look from the old days of the way it was with WWE, a look was pretty much top on the list, like because they used to take like, or they sometimes still do, like football players that look amazing that have never wrestled before and just train them up to be a wrestler. Do you know what I mean?
Football
just because
players.
They're these beasts. Yeah, because they're huge and they like the old like Vince McMahon way of things. He liked his lads to be like 6 foot. Like that's kind of changed. For guys, a huge thing for years was always their height, because like you'd have to be a certain height or you can't be a wrestler, because then they'd always have the referees be really small so the wrestlers look bigger on TV and all this kind of stuff. So if they're that strict about it, that's why in my head I was always like, no, I don't have a chance with WWE ever. Right. And over time, obviously they changed a few things and I then decided I didn't want to go there. But it's kind of for them sort of reasons, you know what I mean? It's just like they're very, it's just not a good place in mentally.
Okay, this is the serial wrestling fight to end all serial wrestling fights, folks. Special K wants to be declared the healthiest cereal in the world.
But in order to do so, Special K will need to defeat what is considered one of the unhealthiest cereals, Sugar Puffs. That should be no issue for Special K, really, as they consider themselves very healthy.
And here comes Special K entering the ring at 113 calories per 30 grams serving. This cereal is strutting into the ring, telling all the spectators to do the Special K diet for 2 weeks to drop 2 jean sizes.
And here comes Sugar Puffs in a hyper state, entering the ring at 114 calories per 30 grams serving. That's only 1 calorie difference between these two amazing competitors.
Special K makes the first hit against Sugar Puffs.
But the hit doesn't seem to have any effect on Sugar Puffs, who slams back into Special K.
My God, these two just keep throwing hits, but it's making no difference.
Well, there's very little between these two nutrition-wise. Special K has just 0.1 grams saturated fat, while Sugar Puffs has 0.2 grams. The only area Sugar Puffs gains is 6.6 grams of sugar versus Special K's 4.5 grams. That's very little difference overall.
We've just received a note that Sugar Puffs has been rebranded as Honey Monster Puffs.
Of course, because honey sounds better than sugar. A brilliant decision for this competitor.
Oh my God, Crunchy Nut Cornflakes has run into the ring out of nowhere.
My God, Crunchy Nut Cornflakes at 119 calories per 30 grams serving, and with by far the most sugar of any of these competitors. This cereal is trying to make a name for itself and step out of the shadow of its brother, Cornflakes.
Oh my God, stop everything. They're all knocked out. All 3 cereals have knocked each other out and are lying on the ground.
There was not enough nutritional difference between these three cereals to have any clear winner. This is a loser's draw.
I made my breakout by being a character wrestler.
Yeah.
So I had an original character that nowhere else in the world has a woman doing comedy matches or just something so abrasive. And yeah, and just kind of something different. But then it's also, I do train hard, or I did when we were at training. I really started to focus on my actual in-ring career. So I was like, just really, really focusing on the wrestling and getting better and better and better, and just having better matches to make me better. So that kind of became full circle with becoming more of an athlete and kind of helping with like getting fitter in itself. I started focusing more on like actual in-ring training. And then I'd go to the gym, but I was just trying to do a lot of cardio just to kind of keep weight off. But I wasn't obsessing about, oh, I need big arms or I need big legs or I need flat stomach or whatever like that. I was just kind of like, and as well with your costume, you kind of find ways to hide it. You know what I mean? Like it's like, oh, if I wear high-waisted skirt, you know what I mean? Little things like that. So you find your little. But then again, I've been wrestling 10 years, so it took me a while.
It's like I'd basically be wearing a muumuu if I was going into the ring. I'd just be wearing one long like parachute over my head, like over my entire body.
I wore a onesie so many times. In the middle of summer, I'd come to the ring in a onesie. I never wrestled in the onesie, but it was like, that was the most secure I ever felt because I was like, nobody knows what's under this yet. I feel like if I was one of them kind of naturally skinny girls or, you know, just one of them girls like in shape and didn't like have to try as hard, I probably would be a lot more comfortable. But I think it's just in my head from being big as a kid and everyone kind of knowing I was big that I'm kind of like, oh, they're going to like judge me if I eat this. They're going to think I don't care anymore. They're going to think I'm not dedicated or something like that. You know what I mean? It's like, it's a lot of whirlwinds in your head and you're just kind of constantly, you don't want to seem like you're not trying or that you don't care about this business when you're actually trying everything in your power, you know, but they didn't see you eating bowls of Special K only trying to lose weight for a show, you know what I mean? Stuff like that.
Please don't do the Special K diet again.
No.
I'm begging you.
I never want to see a bowl of Special K ever again in my life.
It's basically like the Special K diet is 2 bowls of dust, one for breakfast, one for lunch, and then essentially a dinner. Like a dinner, which is like...
I used to actually think it was nice. I remember being like, oh, Special K is actually a lovely cereal. I literally never want to have it again. It is disgusting now.
I know. Yeah, well, like, listen, one thing I'll say is, you know, for a person, as you're saying, like, you know, I don't think anyone could ever say, Karen, that no one thinks that you work hard at this business. You've literally gone and like was offered a contract at WWE. Like, I mean, come on, that's not bad from a girl from Rathfarnham where they, you know, a girl from Rathfarnham where they apparently just like, I don't know, manufactured people with eating disorders on that road.
No, Grace, that was just our road.
I don't know how many kids on that road for some reason had to do the Special K diet.
They're all wrestlers now, actually.
Yeah,
that's it.
All.
We're going to start our own federation.
Yeah. We're all doing the Royal Rumble. So it's just kids from that road in Rathfarnham that are going to be in the Royal Rumble.
I feel sorry for that ring. You're going to need a like special reinforced ring.
Well, one of the things that has kind of popped into my head just as we were talking is like, I know a TV show and documentary that's really popular nowadays in relation to female wrestling is Glow, you know, and from what I've seen from the documentary and the show, they seem to be very diverse in kind of like, you know, ages and body size and characters. Like, is that something that's kind of like, you know, that you'd be kind of conscious of in your work, or is that in any way inspirational to you, or do you look at that and do you think it has a place in the kind of women's revolution of wrestling that you were talking about before? Yeah,
well, like I only watched the first season of Glow. I didn't watch the other one. I don't know why, because I heard it's great. But I think that's another thing that, like, you know, back in that era of like the Kelly Kellys and stuff, it was like you almost had a cutoff date. I remember thinking, I think I was like 2021-ish when I like kind of had started like, I'm not going to say being good because it compared to like what wrestling became after that, but I was like having good matches. I was doing well for like a small little corner of Ireland that it was. And I was like pretty dedicated to it at this point. Like I was, okay, I'm a wrestler now, and it was in my routine. But I was like, oh crap, I'm 21. And you kind of thought the cutoff date was like around 25, 26 at the most. And I remember, yeah, like these girls were young, and I was like, oh damn, I'm like, I remember thinking at 21, oh my God, I started this so late. Why didn't I start this when I was 16? Which is insane now. It's insane. Yeah. But because I was like, realistically, I didn't actually hit it very good until I was 27, 28. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So at 21 thinking, oh, why didn't I start this at 16? This is crazy. Like, but as I noticed the revolution came in, and I remember Becky Lynch, she's Irish. I remember I knew her before I'd heard of her obviously because she was one of the first Irish women's wrestlers. So you'd always
she's just for reference, for if anyone doesn't know, her nickname's The Man, isn't she? She's one of the biggest WWE stars at the moment. Yeah,
The Man. She became the like female Stone Cold Steve Austin from that era you were talking about. Like she became the current one, which was phenomenal. Like again, like this girl from Ireland becoming such a big thing in the wrestling world. It was amazing. But yeah, I remember like she came down training with us before she went to WWE, because she actually like was wrestled like years ago and then left for a while and then came back to go to WWE. I remember like wrestling with her and stuff like that. And I remember being like, she kind of became instantly your kind of goal, like your idol.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, she's a little bit older than I am. So I looked at like, okay, she was signed to WWE at like 24, just into developmental. And then she like debuted at like 25, 26 or something. And then it went on, you know what I mean? And I was like, okay, well, if she's doing it. And then you kind of look at other women, like, okay, they're over 30, they're over 30. Do you know what I mean? And you're kind of like coming up to this. I'm like, okay, well, like doing your math almost. And then now I feel like it's very different. Like I know many people now that have been in their mid-30s and just got signed by somewhere. Wow. So I was like, okay. Now for women, I still think it might be a little bit different. Like men wrestle into their 40s, some of them in their 50s, some of them in their 60s, the legends in their 60s. But obviously they don't move as well as they used to. But like, you know, people are keeping at it these days. And that's something that I've been very conscious of, obviously, as I get older and a new generation is starting to come up of like younger people.
Yeah.
And I was like, I may be like top of my generation now, but I'm like, crap, I'm old compared to these people. But realistically, I'm kind of like, okay, like people are in their 30s and they're still going. Women are in their 30s and they're still going.
Yeah.
There's some women nearly 40 still going as well. I know there's a Japanese legend that's just turning like 50 soon, and she's still having the most intense matches I've ever watched in my life. So, and I'm like, she's a god. Like if you look at her doing her fitness, I'm like, you're amazing. You know what I mean? You are dedicated. You're amazing. So, you know, there's definitely a thing. I kind of always kind of said to myself, like, I hope I can get like, I'm turning 30 now, but obviously I've missed a good year of my career, like, which was meant to be the best. But hopefully next year.
Yeah, you had big things lined up. Yeah.
But so I'm kind of like, okay, well, if I can stretch this out for another 2, 3 to 5 being really hopeful that everything continues to go really well. That's what I would hope for. Do you know what I mean? But like, obviously I want to keep it going as long as I can. And I kind of think I'm sort of lucky in the regard that I think my character is something that will actually get funnier with age.
Oh, yeah.
So it's like, even if I'm 60 in the ring, like I'll probably go for, I don't know if you guys would know her, but Mae Young was like, and like 70-year-old women's wrestlers still doing things with WWE. So that's my goal.
Session Moth has to get a baby at some stage as well. Gotta bring that baby into the ring, you know?
Yeah.
I'd love if you brought like, you know, like a baby Algon into the ring, you know, when they used to pretend to drink milk.
This is my child now.
It'd be absolutely gas to see a woman in like leopard print pajamas at the age of 60 down in cans in the middle of a ring. Like, I'm sorry, but that's what I want to see.
Still drinking cans and be like, it hasn't killed me yet, so
keep the session going.
Yeah.
But I think as well, like, you know, it would be nice to see, I have to say, very different bodied, larger bodied, smaller bodied, whatever. Just a variation of body types in wrestling.
There is
like in
to
all
a
sports.
degree.
Yeah.
There is to a degree.
I was thinking of like, well, as you said, like say during the 90s and early 90s, the women tended to be of a very specific type, you know, apart from the exception being China. And I don't know if anyone remembers
China was a hero
China.
for that though, wasn't she?
Yeah, she was. She was a bigger built woman, you know, she was very strong, very muscular. But like when I think of the men back in the day, they actually kind of were quite different because you think of like Kane and the other and these guys weren't
Big Show.
the most, they were amazing wrestlers, but they weren't exactly the real like tight, you know, like tight, you know, tight.
Like
they were
Triple
strong.
There was Triple H, there was The Rock, and there was this, but then they had like I was just trying to think, like Bam Bam Bigelow, but he'd be like a big, like he'd be purposely big, you know what I mean? Vader, these would be, and their whole thing is to be giant. But then that's the thing, for men it didn't really matter. Like as long as you were tall for WWE back then was always the thing. Like you'd have to be tall. They wouldn't have short. I think one of the shortest people that came around was like X-Pac. But then he was always doing the flips and stuff like that. And when he was young, like he was amazing. Like he was short, but he was so fast. And he was kind of something that you hadn't seen in American wrestling. Yeah. He was almost like Mexican fast. Like, so that's why he kind of got his little, like his push and stuff like that. And then Eddie Guerrero and Chris Benoit came along and they were shorter again, but they were amazing in ring. And that's slowly when it started like tiding for guys, but the women kind of stayed the same for years. It took a long time, but when people got behind the women's revolution, and now I genuinely think like fans love seeing so many different types of women and men. They genuinely don't care. I like to think now, I might be optimistic, but I like to think that like even on like as toxic an app as Twitter, you don't see female wrestlers getting called fat anymore. Or get, you know what I mean? Like I feel like it's been something that's kind of eradicated from wrestling. You do not judge women on how they look. Do you know what I mean?
That's amazing.
I don't know whether this is just me being positive and I've muted all the bad words and I try, because I really try my hardest not to look at negative stuff on Twitter. But like I like to think that like I've never gotten a bad comment, which is shocking for me. You know what I mean? Like a bad comment about my weight or anything like that, because they're the type of things that would hit home and really, really like hurt you. If somebody like treated me like, you fat, whatever, I'd be like, just that word would kill me, because it's like of something you went through.
Well, it's the word that if you're bigger as a child and someone uses that word, that was the word that
it's a trigger.
When you were, it's like the whole world went silent if someone called you that. It's like you thought every single person in the world heard it, because it was the biggest to you. It was like, oh no. And I do remember as well. Now I'd be like, if someone called me fat, I'd be like, what? Like, you know, when you're just more like, I'd be like, I'd be more like, who are you?
Is that the best
like,
you've got? Is that the best you've got, really?
Yeah, like, I've a fat arse. I'm able to, like, it's more comfortable to sit down. Like, I don't know what you're meant to, what you're trying to do. But like, you know, it does have that thing of when you were younger, it was, I don't know if you agree with this.
It was a weapon.
To me, it was a weapon. It was the most terrifying thing someone could say to you. Like, I genuinely, in any social a gathering I'd be in, as a teenager especially, oh my God, if someone said that to you.
You're so like, conscious of it.
You know,
I think as well.
Now,
as well, it was one of those things that like you could be having like the most sophisticated like battle of wits with somebody and like all it would take for them, you could be like tear them down in like the most intellectual way, and then suddenly they'd be like, oh yeah, well you're fat, and you're like, oh my God, he's right.
It's so true. It's so true. It's like you could be like having a Winston Churchill type like a dry wit,
debate.
You know what I mean? And then if they said something like, well you're fat, you'd be like, oh God,
I've got nothing.
Well, there's no coming. I've got nothing to come back with.
It's such a childish insult though at the same time, isn't it, to throw at somebody? Like it's like it's so, you'd think in 2020 that people like, you know, well, like I think after everything that the world has gone through, it's like if someone's fat, like okay, it's not even an insult anymore. You know what I mean? It's not, and it shouldn't be.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think if
it definitely
shouldn't be 100%.
And now if someone was to call me fat, I think I'd kind of laugh. As in, like, I'd be like, oh, I'm really sorry that you...
Is that a problem?
At this, I think I'd be like, oh my God, like, I can't believe that you think even saying that word is going to somehow really affect me. But that has taken years. And as you say, on some days, maybe that would really affect
exactly.
you.
Like
Some days it wouldn't. Some days it actually could. Depends on the mood you're in.
Especially like like for younger people, you know, that whole teenage time is probably the most insecure time of anyone's life. But like especially if you're in this like business where you're kind of watched by so many people all the time, and like every move you make is kind of being watched and stuff like that. If you're trying to make it and you start getting a following and stuff like that. But like I can totally understand how like younger people wouldn't be able to, like, you need a thick skin in this business. As someone said that to me when I first started training, and it's so true. Like you do see crap online, like, and that's one thing that's like I've always never really saw. I've probably have seen the fat comments, but it's like I haven't seen it too much to make it hasn't affected me. Do you know what I mean?
That's great.
Like there's places like Reddit is horrible. Like they're either completely sexualizing you, or else they're just tearing you apart because they just have no regard. But like you need thick skin, because if you don't, if a fat comment hurts you, you're gonna get a lot worse. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. So it can be. You need to be ready for that.
You need a thick skin, yet the irony is they're complaining that you have a thick skin.
They don't want you to have a thick skin.
When they said that to me, when they were like, oh, you need thick skin in this business, I was like, I've been training for this since I was a kid. So.
You don't know the famous road I came from where they just manufactured fat diners.
So you're telling me I can have some cake.
You need a thick skin, but keep it tight. Keep that thick skin tight. And
it's one of them things, you need to do everything all at once.
One of the things you kind of touched on it there as well, like, but I wanted to kind of ask you is like, you know, I do know that there are a lot, probably even more so nowadays, a lot of young women who are into wrestling, like who are just fans of wrestling and stuff like that. And like, I mean, from someone who's had all these experiences, like, what would you say to these younger women who are thinking about getting into wrestling, who maybe have kind of body images, who look at these kind of supermodel type wrestlers, you know, who are still overall kind of the majority? Like, what would you say to them, or even to yourself, like at 21, kind of, you know, trying to break in? What would be your advice?
I don't pay attention to it. Just don't worry about it, because if I was like still as badly, if I was that insecure about myself, I don't think I would be able to go in front of like 2,000 people and wearing what you wear. You know what I mean? You kind of have to you cannot be in your head about it, because it'll ruin you and it'll suck all the fun out of it completely. You won't enjoy it anymore. Like, what is there to enjoy about, like, okay, you have a show on Saturday, I have to go weak, I can't eat, I can't drink anything, I'm going to do this to myself for 10 minutes, where you're going to, like, when you're wrestling, you're crumpled over, so you're going to have rolls. You know what I mean? There's going to be rolls in your stomach, regardless of how big it is. You know what I mean? You're going to see photos after the match, and you're going to hate everyone probably. But then that skinny girl next to you that you're worried about probably will as well. Yeah. You know what I mean? But you'll completely miss the journey if you're too worried about how you look along the way. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. It is like, I found that as soon as, I don't know whether this is just me, but as soon as I started, I had the comfort of Martina, and I stopped caring so much about how I looked and what other people thought of me. And I was able to start my career and blossom, and all these things that never thought would happen happened. I went to Japan, I got offered by WWE, I got signed to a place. And this is me having this body that I was so sure would never get me anywhere, because it's not a body that's like, I'm not a model, I'm not a skinny, like, I am very good at filters on Instagram. That's literally it. I have a Facetune app and I use it relentlessly. But like, I go to the gym, I try to keep myself as much as possible, but I don't have like abs like some of my friends, and I eat pizza at the weekend. You know what I mean? Yeah. I run during the week, I go to the gym, but I have pizza at the weekend. I eat chocolate at night, because genuinely, it, like, if this year hasn't taught you anything as well, like, you need to live. You really do. And like, say if wrestling was just over now because of coronavirus and it's just never going to wrestle again, it's like, okay, well, like, I've spent this long fucking making myself miserable, and for what? You know what I mean? Like, at least if you relax about the little things, it can all come together. And at least then you enjoy yourself along the way. You know what I mean?
Karen, I couldn't have said it better myself. I'm pretty sure the last
Well
2 minutes
said.
of you talking is literally, I feel like should be a TED talk to young women and men. Well, listen, thank you so much, Karen, for joining us.
Thanks so much.
Obviously, everyone who is listening to this can find you on Instagram, Session Moth Martina, or on Twitter, or on Grindr, whatever you're fancy.
Whatever you're on.
Whatever you're on.
I'm on it.
But thank you again for being our first guest.
Thank you, guys.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of Fad Camp, brought to you by Grace Mulvey, Connor Dowling, and producer and sound engineer extraordinaire, Darren Lee.
With new episodes released every 2 weeks, you can find us on Spotify, Google Podcasts, or wherever you choose to listen to your podcasts.
If you want to get in touch with the show, email us at fadcamppodcast@gmail.com or find us on Instagram and Twitter at fadcamppodcast.